This might look like your typical Western background, but it's actually an abandoned set of a video game.
The Western was easy to accomplish here in New Mexico. We had the sets, we had the cowboys, we had the horses, we had everything we needed.
Including a great villain, Mad Dog McCree.
There had never been a live-action, interactive video arcade game until Mad Dog came along.
The year was 1990. The dawn of a new age of video games was about to begin. Arcades had small but powerful rivals in the living room. The smallest, the Game Boy, born in 1989. The scariest, the home console, Sega's 16-bit Genesis and Nintendo's Super NES. Now anyone could play high-end video games, anywhere they wanted. Arcade makers had to step up and utilize their main advantage: more storage space that could hold hours of video footage. Instead of computer-generated graphics, they used live action, live dialogue, and live actors, the type of production values that console games couldn't touch. Which brings us back to where we started, New Mexico. A place where a one-of-a-kind experiment changed the video game industry forever. The props from that first live-action game still remain in a dusty warehouse outside Albuquerque.
I'm Dave Roberts, and I was director on Mad Dog McCree.
Hands up.
It was our first entry into video games.
These are the fake dynamite sticks.
The makers of Mad Dog weren't always in the business of making video games. They actually got their start making police training simulators.
We shot things that police would encounter during their day. They put it up on a big screen, and a police officer would walk into the room. He would have a pistol that had had a laser put into it, and he would respond to whatever was happening on the screen. Once we knew how to do that, it made it a little easier to do Mad Dog McCree.
My name is Robert Grebe, and I was the CEO of American Laser Games. This is the aha moment, actually. Looking at this picture, I realized that there was the potential to turn this simulator into a video game. So that became Mad Dog McCree.
The team now had the technology to make a video game, but what they needed was a story. Being located in New Mexico, the Wild West was an obvious choice, and they didn't have to go too far to find their stars.
My name's Russ Dillen, and I played Mad Dog McCree. I've lived in New Mexico all my life. I was born and raised here on this ranch. I've been out here 60 years. When we started shooting Mad Dog, nobody knew who Mad Dog was, or who it was gonna be. Bob Grebe decided I would make a good Mad Dog, obviously not for my looks. Probably was because I could quick draw. That's pretty quick in those days.
Finding a Mad Dog who could quick draw was easy. But transforming a blonde-haired, blue-eyed rancher into a rough-and-tumble outlaw from the Wild West, that's a different story.
I guess the most time-consuming part was the makeup and the hair stuff. And that hair dye's a mess. If I'd sweat, you know, and we're doing this, it'd be black stuff rolling down my forehead.
When I saw him at first dressed as Mad Dog, I had no clue it was my husband. It was kind of like looking at somebody else.
I feel like it's sticking real well either. I was dressed in everything black, and that horrid orange scarf that looks almost like a carnival thing. But I guess that became the trademark of Mad Dog, was that orange scarf.
The plot of Mad Dog McCree goes something like this. A gang of outlaws has laid claim to a small town, kidnapping the mayor and his daughter. The player's job is to kill the members of the gang and eventually Mad Dog himself, freeing the town from terror. Because players competed against live actors in the game, the biggest challenge was accounting for unpredictability. The crew had to shoot each scene in a way that allowed for multiple outcomes of the same situation.
We've got 4 people in the shot. Who does a player shoot first? Oh my, he shoots number 1 first. Well, what if he shot number 4 first? Well, we've got to film that too.
One scene alone, I'm probably 4 different people. I'm one of the guys that jumps out in the street and tries to shoot you. And then as you're walking up the street to the saloon, me and Al come out fighting.
And action.
Stay out!
It was pretty corny, you know. But yeah, there's always a special place for Mad Dog because of what it was and what it became.
We didn't know if the game would be a success. We didn't know if the product would work or not. I mean, it was on-the-job training for all of us.
It's hard to see the light shining so bright.
It really exploded instantly in popularity worldwide because nobody had ever seen anything like it.
You better run, run, run.
You couldn't hardly get near a game because it was just so popular.
Through the rain, through the heat. You won't always sleep alone, but you will never stay to eat. You better run.
I really appreciate just how much that we accomplished back 20 years ago.
You better run.
I never really thought that Mad Dog would have a legacy, but it's iconic in that it really sort of represented this moment of time when video gaming went from Pong and Pac-Man to Grand Theft Auto, you know. I think it was a wonderful stepping stone for the industry.